America is a nation founded on disagreement, but not the kind you see on the news. We're talking about the silent, vicious wars fought over how a steak should be cooked, where the ketchup should be stored, and the unspoken rules of the grocery store aisle. These are the arguments that have no right answer, only deeply held convictions. We found 49 of them that will probably never, ever be settled. 1. The Great American Steak Debate isn't about preference. It's a litmus test for your soul. A perfectly cooked medium-rare steak is a respectful tribute, a tender and juicy monument to the noble beast it came from. Anything beyond that, however, enters the realm of culinary desecration. A well-done steak is not food. It's a tragedy on a plate. It's a gray, leathery ghost of what was once a beautiful piece of meat, punished and incinerated for reasons no one can justify. You've essentially paid a premium for a beef-flavored charcoal briquette, and everyone at the table is silently judging you for it. 2. Don't you dare bring up the state abbreviation for Maine unless you're prepared for a fight that spans generations. The U.S. Postal Service, in a moment of bureaucratic genius, decreed it shall be me. This decision completely ignored the century-long tradition of it being MA. When Massachusetts officially claimed MA, a stubborn legion of old-school Mainers simply refused to comply. They continue to address their mail to a phantom abbreviation, a small but defiant act of rebellion against federal oversight. For them, it's not just 2 letters, it's a 2-letter declaration of cultural independence. 3. Behold, the Jell-O salad, America's most perplexing culinary creation. This is not a salad. This is a quivering neon-colored anomaly where chunks of fruit, shredded carrots, and sometimes even miniature marshmallows are held in suspended animation. The very existence of this dish sparks a fierce debate. Is it a charmingly nostalgic relic from a simpler time? A sweet reminder of church potlucks? Or is it irrefutable evidence that our grandparents' generation was going through something, and that suspending savory items in lime-flavored gelatin was a desperate cry for help? 4. The cabin of an airplane is a pressurized tube of social anxiety, and the armrest is the final frontier. It is an unwritten, yet universally understood, law of air travel that the martyr of the middle seat is entitled to both armrests. This is their sole reparation for the suffering of being sandwiched between 2 strangers. But this sacred pact is constantly under threat, leading to a slow-motion battle of inches. It's a passive-aggressive chess match played with elbows and subtle leans, a silent war where the prize is a few square inches of plastic-covered personal space. 5. There are laws written in books, and then there are the sacred, unwritten laws that prevent society from collapsing into chaos. Chief among them is the buffer urinal protocol. When presented with a row of urinals, you never, ever stand directly next to an occupied one if another option is available. You leave a space. It is the bedrock of male social etiquette. To ignore this rule is to plant a flag of social degeneracy, an announcement that you are a menace who cannot be trusted with even the simplest of societal norms. 6. Let's be clear. The L in salmon is silent. It is a ghost letter, an echo of a word's past that has no business being spoken aloud. Yet, in every group, there is a linguistic anarchist. That one person who will look you dead in the eye and detonate the word salmon into a perfectly pleasant conversation. They don't do it by mistake. They do it for the same reason a cat pushes a glass off a table, just to watch the ensuing chaos as the grammar purists in the room visibly short-circuit. 7. Here's a question that has plagued philosophers and late-night snackers for decades. Does the refrigerator light actually turn off when you close the door? You see it on, you see the door close, and then nothing. You have no proof. You are forced to place your blind faith in the engineers at Samsung and LG, trusting they haven't installed a tiny perpetual spotlight just to mock your electricity bill. For all we know, it's a tiny beacon, signaling the exact location of your leftover casserole to unknown entities the moment your back is turned. 8. In a perfect world designed by traffic engineers, the zipper merge is a symphony of efficiency and cooperation. But on the actual American highway, it's a declaration of war. The driver who uses the open lane all the way to the merge point is not seen as efficient. They are seen as a scoundrel, a line cutter of the highest order. This act triggers a primal, instinctual rage in the drivers who have been waiting patiently, short-circuiting the brain's capacity for logic. It becomes a high-speed battle of wills between cold, hard efficiency and the deeply ingrained American belief that someone, somewhere, is getting away with something. 9. The pronunciation of caramel is not a discussion, it's an ambush. Whether you say caramel with 2 syllables or caramel with 3 is irrelevant. The true purpose of this word is to serve as a conversational trap. The moment you utter your choice, someone is waiting, coiled like a snake, to correct you with a look of insufferable smugness. It's a tiny, insignificant word that has been weaponized to provide the speaker with a fleeting, deeply annoying sense of intellectual superiority. This isn't about language, it's about seizing a moment of petty victory in a meaningless war. 10. Americans can't even agree on what to call that little road that runs alongside a major highway. Depending on where you are, it could be a service road, a frontage road, an access road, or even a feeder road. It's a single strip of asphalt suffering from a nationwide identity crisis. Your choice of term instantly reveals your origins and marks you as an outsider, subjecting you to immediate correction and regional scorn. You'd think after decades of this, a national truce would be declared. You would be wrong. The arguments only get more territorial. 11. Asking whether chili should contain beans is like casually asking about someone's religious convictions, if their religion was founded on spicy meat. To a Texan, adding beans to chili is an act of unforgivable heresy, a culinary sin that turns a sacred dish into common meat sauce. To the rest of the civilized world, chili without beans is a lonely, incomplete bowl of simmering disappointment. This is not a debate over a recipe. This is a fundamental, irreconcilable ideological divide that has torn families and states apart for generations. 12. The mystery of the missing sock is a domestic cold case that haunts millions of American households. One side, the pragmatists, insists it's simple user error, a sock dropped behind the dryer or left in a pant leg. The other side, the truth seekers, believes in a more sinister explanation, that every clothes dryer contains a small, fabric-hungry wormhole to another dimension. Appliance manufacturers officially deny the existence of these sock vortexes, but the evidence, or lack thereof, speaks for itself. The disappearances continue, and the laundry room remains a place of unsolved paranormal activity. 13. At every American summer barbecue, a great civil war is fought not with cannons but with condiments. The choice between a hamburger and a hot dog is a declaration of personal philosophy. The hamburger is the safe, respectable choice, a classic, dependable citizen of the grill. The hot dog, on the other hand, is a structurally ambiguous meat tube of questionable origins and limitless potential. Your allegiance says everything about you. Are you a traditionalist who values stability? Or are you a culinary adventurer willing to embrace the delicious chaos of a mystery cylinder? 14. The dishwasher utensil basket is the site of a brutal daily battle between sanitation and self-preservation. Do you place the forks and knives points up, ensuring they receive the full, purifying blast of the water jets? Or do you place them points down, prioritizing your own safety from accidental impalement when unloading? Every load is a high-stakes gamble. You are forced to choose between the remote possibility of food poisoning and the very immediate, very real possibility of stabbing yourself in the hand. It's a domestic risk-reward scenario with no clear winner. 15. In the great state of New Jersey, a bitter conflict has raged for over a century. Not over land or politics, but over a breakfast meat. Is that delicious, artery-clogging slice of processed pork called Taylor ham? Or is it pork roll? It is the exact same product. Yet, using the wrong name in the wrong county is a social offense on par with insulting their mother's cooking. The state is literally divided by a processed meat preference, a bafflingly intense debate that makes no sense to outsiders, which is probably exactly how New Jersey likes it. 16. The annual argument over whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie is a beloved American tradition. Proponents point out it takes place during a Christmas party, features holiday music, and has a theme of family reconciliation. But by that same twisted logic, Jaws is a 4th of July movie. It takes place during a summer holiday, features a beach party, and revolves around solving a major community problem. The debate isn't actually about Christmas. It's a philosophical stress test to see how far you can bend the definition of something before it shatters into absurdity. 17. There is a secret verbal handshake to prove you belong in Nevada, and it's how you pronounce the state's name. The locals, the ones in the know, say Nevada with a flat A, sound like an apple. Almost every tourist and out-of-stater says Nevada. For Nevadans, correcting this mistake is a small but deeply satisfying pastime. It's their one chance to assert a little bit of authority and cultural superiority over the hordes of people who have just arrived to lose their rent money in the local casinos. 18. The soul of the second-person plural pronoun is a linguistic battleground in America, pitting y'all against you guys. In one corner, you have y'all, a marvel of Southern engineering. It's elegant, efficient, and effortlessly gender-neutral. In the other corner, you have you guys, the clunky default setting for the rest of the nation that feels increasingly outdated. This isn't just a matter of regional dialect. It's a clash of cultures, a fight between smooth linguistic grace and brute force conversational habit. 19. The crosswalk button is a monument to humanity's eternal baseless optimism. Do you press it once, like a civilized person who trusts the system? Or do you hammer on it repeatedly, as if you're trying to input a cheat code to override the city's traffic grid? We all secretly know these placebo buttons often do nothing, yet the ritual persists. Mashing that button is a small, futile act of rebellion, a primal scream against the tyranny of an automated traffic signal that refuses to bend to your will. 20. The in-home footwear policy is a silent but deeply divisive issue in every American household. Are you a barefoot purist, embracing the primal connection between foot and floor? Are you a socks-only soldier, prioritizing comfort and cleanliness? Or are you a dedicated slipper wearer, a connoisseur of cushioned domesticity? This isn't just about what's on your feet. It's a philosophical stance. People will defend their choice with the ferocity of a constitutional lawyer arguing a Supreme Court case. It's the unspoken right to bear arms, or in this case, bare feet, within the sovereign nation of your own living room. 21. The eternal cats versus dogs debate has nothing to do with pets. It is a full-blown psychological evaluation you willingly subject yourself to. The real question is this: do you crave the endless, slobbering, unconditional adoration of a creature that fundamentally sees you as a god? Or do you prefer to cohabitate with a tiny, furry sociopath who treats you like a slightly incompetent butler, and whose affection must be earned, negotiated, and is subject to immediate cancellation without notice? Your choice reveals everything about your need for control versus your need for validation. 22. There is a special place in hell reserved for people who leave time on the microwave. Pulling your food out with 3 seconds remaining and just walking away is a monstrous act of passive aggression. That blinking, uncleared timer is not just a number, it is a glowing digital monument to your own selfishness. It is a silent scream into the void of the kitchen, a direct insult to every other person in the house who now has to perform the arduous task of pressing the clear button to restore order to the universe. 23. Let's wade into a true digital war zone, the argument over paying college athletes. For decades, the NCAA piously preached the gospel of the student athlete, a romantic myth of playing for the love of the game. On the other side is the argument that this is simply unpaid labor, with young adults generating billions in revenue while surviving on a scholarship and a meal plan. It is a bitter crusade that pits tradition against fairness, and the comments section on this topic is a more brutal battleground than any rivalry game. 24. What do you call that magical insect that illuminates a summer evening? The name you choose is an immediate declaration of your regional identity. Is it a lightning bug, a gentle, whimsical term that evokes a sense of childhood wonder? Or is it a firefly, a name that sounds a bit more scientific, a bit more serious? It is the exact same bug, but people will defend their preferred term with a burning passion that, ironically, is far more intense than the light the bug itself produces. It's a linguistic turf war fought on porches across America. 25. Is it socially acceptable to clap when the credits roll at a movie? Not at a fancy premiere, but in your standard sticky-floored suburban multiplex. One camp believes it's a spontaneous, joyful expression of a shared experience, a way to collectively appreciate a piece of art. The other camp views it as a fundamentally bizarre act, applauding a screen that cannot hear you for actors who are not present in a performance for an audience of complete strangers who just want to find their car keys. It's a debate between earnest celebration and cynical realism. 26. The grocery store aisle is governed by a fragile, unspoken social contract that is violated every single day. There is a fundamental rule. You do not park your shopping cart in the dead center of the aisle like you are the sole inhabitant of the planet. Yet, there is always one person who abandons their cart to enter a deep, meditative trance in front of the yogurt selection, completely oblivious to the 10-cart traffic jam of simmering rage they have created behind them. It's a stunning display of a complete lack of spatial awareness. 27. Forget astrology. If you want to know someone's true character, ask them where they store their ketchup. This simple question divides the nation into two distinct, irreconcilable camps. On one side, you have the law-abiding citizens who store it in the refrigerator, as the label clearly instructs. On the other, you have the pantry rebels, the anarchists who live on the edge and believe that a cocktail of vinegar and sugar is its own preservative. Your answer determines whether you are a pillar of society or someone who should be on a government watch list. 28. The debate over washing new clothes before wearing them is a battle between prudence and pure, unadulterated impatience. The sensible camp will calmly lecture you about industrial chemicals, warehouse dust, and the unknown number of people who tried on that exact shirt before you. The other camp, the thrill seekers, apparently sees no issue with draping themselves in a garment that has been on a global journey of questionable hygiene. To them, a thin layer of factory residue isn't a hazard. It's just part of the new clothes experience. 29. The far left lane of the American highway is sacred ground, a hallowed space designated for one holy purpose: passing. Yet it is constantly being desecrated by a special kind of driver known as the left lane lord. This individual sees the passing lane not as a temporary thoroughfare, but as their own personal asphalt kingdom. They will cruise along at exactly the speed limit, blissfully unaware of the miles-long caravan of incandescent rage building behind them. It is a fundamental betrayal of the highway's social contract. 30. The order in which you prepare a bowl of cereal is not a matter of preference. It is a window into your soul. Pouring the cereal first is the only logical, sane method. It allows you to accurately gauge the volume and achieve the perfect cereal-to-milk ratio. Pouring the milk first is an act of pure, unadulterated chaos. It is a breakfast crime. You cannot judge the displacement. You are inviting splashback. This is not a choice. It is a clear indicator of whether you are a stable human being or a psychopath. 31. The clash between college football and the NFL is a battle for the very soul of the sport. Do you pledge allegiance to the raw, tribalistic, and often sloppy passion of college ball, where tradition and marching bands are as important as the final score? Or do you prefer the cold, calculated, and brutal precision of the NFL, a league of genetically engineered superathletes executing plays with the perfection of a military operation? It's a choice between the chaotic heart of amateurism and the polished billion-dollar machine of professional sports. 32. And now for the final and most predictably American argument of them all, arguing about the contents of this very list. The moment this video concludes, thousands of you will instinctively race to the comments section to declare, "You completely forgot about the toilet paper roll orientation," or "Number 27 is absurd, and here's why." In doing so, You will beautifully and unwittingly prove the entire thesis of this video. It is a perfect self-sustaining cycle of disagreement, and honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. 33. Let us take a moment to discuss the single most malevolent object in any American kitchen, the plastic wrap dispenser. This is not a tool. It is a device of psychological torture. It is a roll of impossibly thin film, engineered by sadists to cling only to itself, tear in jagged, useless patterns, and utterly refuse to be cut by the laughable serrated edge on the box. Every attempt to cover a bowl of leftovers devolves into a desperate, losing battle against physics and pure, transparent spite. It is a monument to human failure. 34. In most of the United States, a gas station is a place for fuel and perhaps a questionable hot dog. But in the Mid-Atlantic, the rivalry between Wawa and Sheetz is nothing short of a blood feud. You are either a Wawa family or a Sheetz family. This allegiance, often inherited, dictates where you get your coffee, your made-to-order sandwiches, and your fundamental sense of regional identity. There is no middle ground. There are no conscientious objectors in this war. You pick a side, or you will have one picked for you. 35. The great aluminum foil debate is a classic battle between science and stubborn conviction. Physicists and engineers will patiently explain that for home cooking, it makes absolutely zero difference whether the shiny side is in or out. But this scientific fact is powerless against the ironclad certainty of your uncle, who will swear on a stack of cookbooks that the shiny side reflects the heat better, or seals in the flavor. This isn't about thermodynamics. It's about defending a piece of kitchen folklore you've believed your whole life. Evidence be damned. 36. According to the U.S. Flag Code, there are very specific rules for displaying the American flag. The blue field of stars, the Union, should always be in the upper left position. It's a simple rule. Yet every 4th of July and Memorial Day, a wave of well-intentioned but incorrect flag displays washes over the nation. They're hung vertically with the stars on the wrong side, draped as tablecloths, or flown until tattered. For the small percentage of Americans who actually know the code, it triggers a silent, aneurysm-inducing patriotic rage that they must bottle up to avoid ruining the barbecue. 37. For decades, the designated hitter rule was a line in the sand that divided Major League Baseball. The American League embraced it, arguing that fans pay to see home runs, not to watch a multi-million-dollar pitcher swing a bat with the grace of a man fighting off a swarm of bees. The National League resisted, clinging to the purity of tradition, which apparently included the sacred ritual of a guaranteed, pathetic strikeout every 9 batters. It was the ultimate philosophical clash. Do you want a more exciting product? Or do you want to honor the integrity of watching someone fail at a task they aren't trained for? 38. Tipping. In America is not a simple transaction. It's a mandatory high-anxiety social performance with unclear rules. Is it a genuine reward for excellent service, or a bizarre system where customers are guilted into subsidizing a business owner's payroll? Nobody really knows. All we know for sure is that it transforms every otherwise competent adult into a flustered mathematician, frantically trying to calculate 20% of $78.54 after 3 glasses of wine, all under the watchful eye of their server. 39. The war between manual and automatic transmissions is a battle between romanticism and reality. Drivers of manual cars are a dwindling but extremely vocal tribe of zealots who will tell you it's the only way to truly feel the road and achieve a sacred communion with your machine. The other 99% of us who have actually experienced rush hour traffic understand it's a form of self-inflicted leg torture. It's a clear choice between the illusion of superior control and the blissful, traffic jam-conquering relief of modern convenience. 40. The thermostat setting is not a temperature control. It is the central command console for a Cold War fought within the walls of every American home. One person, who is apparently part lizard and generates their own heat, believes any setting above 68 degrees is a descent into a fiery, expensive hell. The other person, who is perpetually shivering, views 72 degrees as the bare minimum for human survival. This leads to a silent, passive-aggressive battle of inches, where the dial is secretly nudged up and down throughout the day. It is a fundamental conflict between comfort and frugality with no treaty in sight. 41. The act of calling an adult man you don't know buddy, chief, or boss is a game of conversational Russian roulette. For some men, it's a casual, harmless, even friendly gesture. For others, it's a deeply condescending power move that lands with the subtlety of a brick. It immediately makes them feel like you're either a 1980s car salesman about to pitch them an undercoating, or that you're subtly trying to establish dominance. You never know which reaction you're going to get, making it one of the riskiest greetings in the American lexicon. 42. The ice cube tray is a simple device that reveals profound truths about a person's character. When you take the last cubes, you are faced with a moral crossroads. Do you immediately refill the tray, thus perpetuating the cycle of frosty convenience for the next person? Or do you put it back in the freezer, empty, an act of pure, cold-hearted villainy? One choice makes you a responsible member of a household. The other makes you the sole reason someone else's beverage is a lukewarm glass of liquid disappointment and betrayal. 43. Daylight. Saving time is perhaps the only issue that unites nearly all Americans in shared, bewildered hatred. Twice a year, we are all unwilling participants in a bizarre, government-mandated jet lag ritual that serves no discernible modern purpose. It doesn't save energy, it disrupts sleep schedules, and it plunges half the country into depressing darkness at 4:30 p.m. The only things it reliably accomplishes are making everyone grumpy for a week and reminding us that nobody knows how to change the clock on their microwave or oven. 44. The highway on-ramp is a crucial test of one's ability to function in a high-speed society, and a terrifying number of people fail it spectacularly. The correct, sane, and safe procedure is to accelerate to match the flow of traffic before merging seamlessly. But there is another school of thought, which involves crawling to the very end of the ramp at 30 miles per hour, coming to a near stop, and then praying for a divine intervention to part the 70-mile-per-hour seas of traffic. This maneuver causes a chain reaction of slammed brakes and shattered nerves for miles. 45. The question of whether a bagel should be toasted is a breakfast battleground. The overwhelming majority of society agrees that a bagel's destiny is to be warmed, crisped, and transformed into a perfect vehicle for cream cheese. But a small, deeply unsettling minority of raw bagel eaters exists. They walk among us, content to gnaw on a cold, dense, chewy puck of dough. Their existence is a quiet threat to breakfast culture, a baffling choice that makes you question everything you thought you knew about your fellow man. 46. The name you use for a carbonated, sugary beverage is not a word. It is your regional passport. Are you on the coasts, ordering a soda like a sophisticated urbanite? Are you in the Midwest, asking for a pop with wholesome heartland charm? Or are you in the South, where every single soft drink in existence, from Sprite to Dr. Pepper, is simply referred to as Coke? This is not a matter of semantics. It is a declaration of tribal allegiance, and whichever word you use, you are guaranteed to be considered wrong by 2/3 of the country. 47. The act of putting ice in a glass of wine is a small-scale class war fought at barbecues and patio parties across America. To the pragmatist, it is a perfectly logical solution to the problem of warm white wine on a hot day. To the wine snob, it is an act of unforgivable barbarism, a culinary crime on par with putting ketchup on a filet mignon. It is a single, clinking cube that separates the practical from the pretentious, sparking, silent, simmering judgment with every sip. 48. The United States is a nation divided by a single word, route. Is it pronounced route, as in the iconic Route 66? Or is it pronounced route, like you're delivering newspapers on your paper route? The true chaos agent is the person who uses both pronunciations interchangeably, often in the same sentence without even realizing it. This linguistic inconsistency is a conversational tripwire, capable of sparking a surprisingly passionate and pointless argument at any given moment. 49. The nightly debate over sleeping with the closet door open or closed is a battle between adult logic and primal childhood terror. To a rational mind, an open door is just an open door. But to the part of our brain that never fully grew up, an open closet is a gaping maw into a dark dimension, a designated entry portal for monsters, ghouls, and all your stored anxieties. Closing the door isn't about tidiness. It's about following basic, common-sense monster prevention protocol that was hardwired into us as children. And there you have it, 49 arguments that are essentially American traditions. But we know with absolute certainty that we missed the one that drives you, personally, insane. So the comment section is now officially open for business. What is the unofficial point number 50 on this list? If you found yourself nodding in agreement or shaking your head in disgust, you know what to do with those like and subscribe buttons. It's the easiest argument you'll win all day.